hello everyone. Welcome to this week's Climate Dispatch. My name is Lauren Hurl, and I'm the Executive Director of the Vermont Natural Resources Council, and excited to be here today with Paul Burns, the Executive Director of VPIRG, and also Elena Mihaly, who is the Vermont Director of the Conservation Law Foundation. Thanks for being with me.
You bet.
Nice to be here.
Excellent. So we're here to share the latest from the State House. We're getting into the final stretch, thank goodness. But a lot has actually been going on this week. So some good, some bad, some ugly. And so we'll give you all the scoop. So let's first kick it over to Elena.
Yeah, well, I get to say the highlight of the week, I think, which is that the Climate Superfund finally got some clear sight of funding in the budget so that we can move forward with implementing this landmark, really important law that allows us to finally hold big oil accountable to help chip in to pay for the cleanup costs that we know our state are already facing and will face to account for climate change. So that was really good to see move forward. We, unfortunately, because of Republican opposition, did not get as much as we wanted in the budget, but luckily Treasurer Pichak and others got creative, and we can figured out ways to do more with a little bit less, and this law can move forward.
Great, thanks. So Paul, what's some other maybe bad, ugly, and some more good?
Let me see. You know, I'm sure you've talked about this. It was just a couple of weeks ago that the U.S. Department of Justice was suing Vermont over the Climate Superfund. And so it's nice to have a little bit better news to talk about here. Yeah. That litigation continues, obviously, and we're doing all we can to ensure that the state successfully defends the law. But it's important that we move forward with implementing, too. And so that really is an important step forward there. A step back that also mirrors some of what we're seeing at the federal level, I think, was this week when the governor announced in an executive order that he was retreating from commitments that the state has made to move forward with electric vehicles, cars and light trucks. And this is critically important. I mean, you know, Vermonters are embracing electric vehicles, cleaner cars. They understand the impact on the environment that gasoline-powered vehicles have. And the governor himself had signed on to the agreement that we were going to move forward. We're going to eliminate the sale of dirty and polluting gas-powered vehicles by 2035, following California and a dozen or so other states across the country. And this week, I have to say, out of the blue, the governor announced in an executive order that we're going to pause that program and not move forward on the same timeline that has been established state policy now for some time. And, you know, if there's any reason to do it for light trucks, I mean, there's technology that's developing there. That's a conversation that's been taking place, but truly out of the blue to say we're not going to move forward with this provision for regular automobiles. And that is, and the governor says, well, there's not enough infrastructure yet. I guess I would just say, that's not leadership, that's just retreat. And we need to do better. You know, the climate is changing. This is an opportunity for us to get people out of dirty and polluting vehicles into cleaner vehicles that will cost them less and certainly have less impact on the planet. And if we don't have enough infrastructure yet, the governor should be figuring that out. That would be the leadership that we need, not a simple retreat from the commitment. Again, it kind of smacks from who else is issuing a lot of executive orders that do bad things for public health and the environment these days. That's not the kind of thing that we need in Vermont. We need better leadership, and so we expect more on that moving forward. I guess that's the bad news of the week.
Yeah, yep. So we always like to have actions for people to take. So one of the actions is please reach out to the governor. Let him know that you're disappointed, frustrated, angered that he would pull out of the Clean Cars provision, which is the single most meaningful step that the administration has taken on climate action so far. So to retreat from that is so unacceptable. And just fun fact, there was a recent study this year that showed that Vermont had the most per capita EV infrastructure in the country. So just a little fun fact. So there was one other bill that is moving this week. We'll give a quick update on in brighter news.
Yeah, so in brighter news, not climate related so much, but PFAS legislation is moving in the State House right now. So the Senate Health and Welfare Committee gave its approval just earlier today to legislation that will ban so-called forever chemicals. These are toxic chemicals used in a wide variety of things. This will ban that chemical in more consumer products like dental floss and cleaning products. And importantly for firefighters, it will eliminate it in firefighter gear by 2029. That's a huge step. 2 other New England states have done it, but we would be the 3rd state to take that step for the firefighters. And it's just one more way that we can protect people from the really harmful effects of PFAS exposure, which includes all sorts of reproductive and developmental disorders, cancer, and so forth. This is bad stuff. You want to get rid of it as quickly as possible. This legislation will build on earlier legislation that Vermont has already passed to take PFAS out of a number of other consumer products. So it's one more step in the right direction there, and it should come up on the floor of the Senate next week.
That's great. So another quick action you can take, send your senator a note to support H238, the bill to ban toxic PFAS chemicals from several consumer products. So thank you both so much for joining me, and we'll be back with you next week.
You're
Take
welcome.
care.